first top 10 finish of your career at Bristol, what I guess would be 2 weeks ago. Can you just talk about that race and how it felt to finish in the top 10 for the first time?
Well, I mean, when I set out and obviously got the opportunity to go to the Sprint Cup level, that was always the goal. The goal is still to win races and to finish top 5 on a weekly basis. But we knew we had an uphill battle, and for those that have followed my career to this point, especially at the Sprint Cup level, it's not been as easy as anyone hoped that it would have been, obviously. But to finally get that first top 10, to do it at a place that I love. I mean, Bristol has kind of been one of those racetracks that it just feels natural, feels comfortable from the first laps that I made. So to finally get it there, I think meant a lot, and to do it in a fashion that wasn't by luck or by chance. We legitimately raced our way up there kind of all night and had a good solid finish because of it. Was definitely cool.
You got your first win at Bristol in the Nationwide Series, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
So you mentioned that's a place you like to race, but did that have a special meaning in your heart, knowing that that's where you had your first NASCAR victory?
Yeah, I think, when I was fortunate enough to win there a couple of years ago in what is now the Xfinity Series, I felt like I was really comfortable then. And so, getting that feel and getting that knowledge of what makes me tick, I guess would be the right word at a racetrack like that. To be able to come back in a Sprint Cup Series car, where they drive differently, they have different features, the cars really aren't the same, but to still have that feel and to understand what it takes to run fast, I think was a huge help. And knowing that you have a win there, it gives you lots of confidence to go in there and feel like you can compete, even though it's at a different level and at a higher level, you still have that confidence that you're able to go in there and compete, and I think that was really a big part of it.
So this week you were at Richmond, and I was watching. I saw you were racing as high as second because you didn't hit under green. Is
Correct.
that right?
Correct.
Okay, I thought so. You were up as high as second. Can you just kind of talk a little bit about Sunday's race and how it felt to be in the front of the pack?
Sunday's race was unique for us, to get the rain like we did on Saturday and to basically be washed out all day. And then to come back on a Sunday afternoon, which, I've been fortunate enough now to race Richmond quite a few times and never in the day. So it was a unique experience from that aspect to start off with. But then to get down to the point of the race where green flag pit stops were starting and we were able to kind of stay out and catch a caution, and I think at that point there were only 3 of us on the lead lap. That was a cool moment. To pass one of those guys and to get up to second and to kind of ride there for 40, 50 laps, I think it was good for me because I was able to see kind of some of the other competitors that I look up to and trying to learn from. I learned a few things about how to conserve and how to get some speed out of my car, which is ultimately the main goal, to do that on a weekly basis. But then the other part of it is that it kind of put us in a unique situation that I think our team, we may not have responded the way we would have liked to have responded. We had kind of I call it a rough pit stop at the last. It was maybe, a half a second slow of what it normally would be, and I think it put us back all the way at 10th to 12th on the restart. So definitely lost a few spots there and kind of hurt us from progressing the way we'd like to. But still, a year ago, if you'd have told me I would finish 18th, I'd have been extremely excited about that. And to be disappointed with that, I think that means we're going in the right direction.
And I believe you were battling stomach cramps in that race. Did you start out the race feeling fine?
Yeah, I started the race feeling fine, and what's weird is that it wasn't necessarily bowel related. It was muscle related, and I've not really been down that road yet of having kind of those muscle cramps or Charlie horses during the race. So something that I'm looking into. I think the race being a delayed a day, probably hydration-wise, I wasn't as hydrated as I normally would be on a race day. So I think that hurt me quite a bit. But just a kind of a unique a unique deal for me, and hopefully not anything that I'll have to deal with in the near future. But the guys did a great job. They responded to what I needed and were able to give me some medicine inside the car, and ultimately finish the race out. Not to say that it was as good as it could have been. I don't know. I'd like to think that I was still giving 100% at the end of the race, but when you have something like that, it definitely diverts some of your attention.
So how do they give you medicine during the race, during a pit stop?
So they handed it in to me in a little plastic bag, and I have a drink inside the car, obviously, that I'm able to drink when I need some fluids. So the one thing I didn't take into consideration is they gave it to me in a Ziploc baggie, and I have gloves on, and I kept trying to reach down in and grab a pill out, and it was like having oven mitts on. I couldn't get a hold of anything. It was awful, but I ended up taking my gloves off. Luckily, we were under caution. I took my gloves off, reached in, and got a hold of them, and was able to take them. So if you can take medicine or pills inside of a race car, I think you can probably take them anywhere.
Okay. Do you know what it was, or what they gave you?
I don't know.
Okay, but it worked.
Something that the Infield Care Center passed along, which, that's probably one of the coolest part about our sport, is that we have a great medical staff that travels to the races. They know the drivers kind of on a very close basis, and we deal with them on everything. So they relayed what was going on inside the car, and they were able to get me all fixed up. So that makes it nice.
Do you feel like you guys are more competitive this year? You get a top 10. This past Sunday, you're running in second. Do you feel like H. Scott Motorsports number 51 Grant Chevrolet has been more competitive?
Absolutely. I think from a driver's perspective, not that it's been any easier. We've still had our challenges, and we've still tried to push through all the things that we've had to. But I would say from my standpoint, there's different hurdles. It's not that we're not fighting the same things we fought last year. Now we've kind of excelled our program to a point of where we have new challenges. And I don't think, Jimmy Johnson's a perfect example. 6-time champion, 5 in a row, and they still have challenges on a weekly basis. And I think that number one gives you the temperature of our sport and how difficult it is to run well on a weekly basis. But the other part of it is we have such a moving target that we're constantly going up against, whether it be rules changes or aerodynamic changes or, really honestly, even track changes. We see these tracks, and we go to Richmond, for example, this past weekend. By the time we go back there in the fall, it's a completely different Richmond. So we have to keep up with so many different things that I feel like for us this year we've definitely made huge gains. We still have our strengths and our weaknesses for sure, but I'm very proud of our guys and really what we've been able to accomplish, and happy for Brant. They've stuck behind me now for the last few years, and I think this is year number 5 for us as being together. And to see the progress that we've made from starting out in the Xfinity Series at a kind of the same basis we started out the Sprint Cup program with, and then to ultimately get to this point where we're at now of running competitively. We both want that first win. We know that it's not going to be the easiest thing in the world, but if we keep running up front and knocking off top 10s and top 5s, I feel like that ultimately we can get there.